Alright guys, welcome back to the channel, and well, in this video, as the thumbnail and the title and everything else suggests, I am going to be making a tier list of all the Assassin's Creed armors that are in the game. Now the rules are, I'm not going to do any special armors. I'm going to do an armor that the main character has either worn in the main game or in a DLC. Other than that, I'm not touching any other armors. If a character has worn multiple armors like Ezio has in multiple different games, those are featured. If a character has a different armor in a DLC, those are also featured. And there are some small cheat cases as well where you shouldn't really count them as protagonists, but I have. So here we are. And also you can look at the tiers as well. So it's iconic, great, good, okay, and bad. So before moving forward, I would just like to say that, hey, I have a Discord channel now. So come join me there. The link is down in the description below. And also follow me on Twitter. Follow me on Twitch. Yeah, I stream sometimes. So yeah, follow me on Twitch as well. And without any further delays, let's just get on with this. Oh, I forgot about this. But in case you have made it this far into the video and you think the mic quality kind of sucks, I know it sucks. It should be better, but unfortunately, it's hot as hell in here. That means my fan is going like at its maximum capacity. My CPU fans are blaring at its maximum capacity. So this poor tiny little mic is just having trouble getting rid of all that noise. Now I don't have RTX voice because of course 1660 Ti, unfortunate, but you know it's doing the best it can. So cut it some slack. I'll try to fix it up as much as I can in post. So as you can see, I have neatly laid out all the characters in terms of when they have appeared in the games. So of course all of these last characters are actually older, but they are in the modern games, so they are going to be later in the video. So some of the cheat cases that I have done, you will see when we go into the tier lists. So right off the bat, we start with Altair. And honestly, there is no other place I can put this except for iconic. Because this is what describes Assassin's Creed. And even more than that, like, hey, maybe, you know, there could have been better armor sets, but this one is just that good. It is very simple. Like it doesn't have many frills or decorations or stuff like that. It is very simple. It was meant to sort of mimic the scholars robes, the ones that they wore in Assassin's Creed 1, the ones that the scholars wore in Assassin's Creed 1, so that Altair could blend in. And it's very simple, but it still has an elegance of sort, and that's why, you know, this really describes the series. If you show this image to someone, you know they will understand that this, yes, that is Assassin's Creed. Now moving on from that, I have Desmond Miles, which I would say bad actually, because it's just a hoodie and pant and like, what do we even call it, jeans. Yeah, hoodie and jeans with a backpack. Now I myself have tried to pull off that look successfully. So I do have many hoodies. I have jeans, obviously. I have that triangular backpack. I have a red triangular backpack with me. That is what I use for my college when I go to college. When I used to go to college. So yeah, I tried to do that as well. It's very easy to get that look, and it's honestly not that special. Yeah, Desmond Miles was a big character, but honestly, his robes were not. Alright, moving on from that, we have Giovanni's robes. I would say these are once again iconic. Like, yes. In fact, when most people think of Ezio, they think of this robe. And also, it's not just because it's an iconic robe. I actually do like the robe because there's another iconic Assassin's Creed robe that I am actually not going to put that high on the list. So you will see. So now this one, like everything about it, it's very simple. Like, yeah, it has patterns and stuff like that. When it's not as simple as the Assassin's Creed 1 armor. But compared to some of the armors that we have seen in the later games, it's not that difficult. Like, it's not that heavily designed, but it sort of still has that elegant vibe to it. Like, it has like a nobleman vibe to it. So yeah, I really like this armor. I would recommend anyone who is playing Assassin's Creed 2, do not equip any of these armors, like the leather chest pieces. Don't equip any of those. They kind of ruin the look of the armor, and there is no way to pick them off. So anyone who's starting Assassin's Creed 2 now, do not equip those armors. Literally, the game is easy enough so that you can play without that, and you honestly don't need it. Trust me. Alright, moving on to the Brotherhood Armor. This is the first controversial one. I'm going to say good. Now, there are a few reasons why I'm going to say good. This is an iconic armor. Like, every time Ezio's armor has ever returned as a legacy outfit in any of the Assassin's Creed games, it has been the Brotherhood armor. It's not been the Revelations armor or the Assassin's Creed 2 armor. Now, as far as the Brotherhood armor is concerned, when I first saw it in the CGI trailer, like before playing the game I saw the CGI trailer, I thought it was awesome. But when I started playing the game, at first I loved it. In fact, if you look at another video that I made, which was the top 10 Assassin's Creed armor sets, it's pretty high on that list. But eventually, when I replayed Brotherhood, just now I don't know, I just don't like it as much. And so it's still good. It's not bad. It's just that I don't really like it that much. Then we move on to Revelations, and I would say this is a great armor set. Now, this is the one, of course, with the trailer with the old Ezio going into Masyaf Castle, returning to Masyaf Castle. That trailer itself is really cool. But other than that, this is the outfit that Ezio starts off with, and you can pretty much wear that through the entire game. And that's what I do usually, because I really do and like this armor set. Like, I didn't really rate Revelations armor that high, but after I started playing Revelations again, I just felt like I had made a mistake there. Because now, apparently, I really like this armor set. Like, yeah, again, it's very simple. Like, the color scheme is just gray, like bluish gray with a red sort of a ribbon belt thingy with some armors over here. Like, it's not that complicated. Like, it's a very simple armor, but it really complements Ezio as a character, I feel, and I just really like the way it looks. And it doesn't have the cape from the Ezio trilogy, and I would say that in the Ezio trilogy, the cape physics weren't that good. So that's something, yeah. The cape physics still aren't good, to be fair. So there's that. Now, we move on to Conor Kenway and Raton Kaheton. I can't pronounce his name. Conor Kenway. I would say, once again, great armor set. Like, it's not the best. Like, it's not iconic per se. Like, Conor as a character never really clicked with me. He's not really that high. But his robes were really cool. And I feel like that's a really good armor set. I honestly don't have much to say about it. This is the second time we almost saw blue in the armor. And I feel like the white, blue, and red really work well. And also, you know, America. So it kind of works that way. And I personally like the color blue. So yeah, it's high on my list. Same with Revelations, actually. The color actually does help. Now we move to Conor's dad, which is Haytham Kenway. And I'm going to put it at good. Like, yes. This is one of the first cheat armors in this list, which is Haytham Kenway is a protagonist in the beginning of the game. And if for some reason you are in 2022 and you still haven't played Assassin's Creed 3, honestly, you can't expect me not to spoil this, but Haytham Kenway is a Templar, and he's not really the assassin, and he's not really the protagonist of Assassin's Creed 3. Like, at this point, you should know that. But the armor itself is pretty cool, and I like the design of Haytham's armor. And of course, it did make a return in Assassin's Creed Rogue. So yeah, it's a good enough armor, so I'm going to put it at good. Now we move on to Conor's DLC armor, which is the Tyranny of King Washington. And there's like this, I'm going to put this on okay. Now, in fact, that is what I feel about it. It's meh. Like, it had the potential to be cool. It had, instead of the hood, it has the wolf head, which, yeah, it is cool. The fur itself, etc., it is cool, and you can really see the more, you know, I don't want to say the word tribal, but the tribal influence. So yeah, it kind of you know, it looks good. It is good, but it's just not as good as some of the other armors. So yeah, it's okay. It's not that bad. Now the next one is Aveline, and once again I'm gonna go with okay. Now this is her assassin armor. Now she also has two other disguises in the game. Unfortunately, I couldn't find good enough renders for those, and that is just okay. It's not the best, it's not the worst. Now we move on to the granddaddy of okay, that's I shouldn't have said that. Okay, I shouldn't have said that. Okay, so we move on to Edward Kenway, and honestly, this is iconic. Like I know a lot of people are going to disagree with me on this, but you know, when Edward begins the game, the robe actually doesn't look like that. Then he sort of in the mission where he claims the jackdaw for himself, he finds those armors and sort of makes modifications to the armor and goes out, and we see that armor for the first time. Honestly, I loved it. I absolutely loved it. And this really represents, like, yes, this kind of looks like an assassin armor, but you can clearly see that he's a pirate. Like, the aesthetic is excellent. The color scheme, in my opinion, is excellent. Like the blue with the red and white. I really like the color scheme as well. So yeah, it's pretty iconic. Like, Edward Kenway is an iconic character in the series, and well, his armor set is as well. Now we move on to Arwale. Now, Arwale wasn't wearing this armor in the main game in Black Flag when he was, Edward's quartermaster. But of course, when he became an assassin in the DLC, in the Freedom Cry DLC, he got this armor, and it's good. It's not bad. It's good. It's like it's okay. It's meh. Once again, it's meh. It's not bad. Like, there are precious few armor sets in these games that I can really say that they are bad, but it's just like, it's okay. It's not that great. It's not that bad. It's just okay. Now, Shay's Templar robes. These were actually pretty great. So when I started playing Rogue, like, I saw in the promotions, like, he was wearing that black and red armor with the Templar logo, and I immediately wanted that. The one disappointment, I would say the one reason why it's not higher is because it didn't have that hood. Like, it doesn't make sense for him to wear the hood, because, you know, he's literally trying to go against the assassins and their iconography. So it makes sense that he didn't have the hood in the final outfit. It makes complete sense. I'm not going to knock Shay's decision for that, but it's just that with the hood, it would have been that much cooler. But even without that, this is like a really cool armor. So, you know what, I kind of feel weird putting this above Haytham, but it was really cool. Now we move on to Arno's armor, and I would say once again, iconic. Arno's robes, the moment I saw them in the trailer. And Assassin's Creed Unity, fun fact, Assassin's Creed Unity was the first Assassin's Creed game that I bought. Now, for the other games, look, I was in college. I didn't really have much money. And throughout my childhood, gaming wasn't really encouraged. In fact, it was pretty much frowned upon. It's kind of still frowned upon in my house. It's just that I'm now a lot older and I don't give a shit. But this was the first game, like, I was in the second year of my college and I bought this. And one of the biggest reasons why I bought this was because when I saw the trailer, I saw the assassin, and I just instantly fell in love with that armor. And I still use it. Like, any of the Unity videos that you see on my channel, the stealth runs and stuff like that, I am still using that armor. I really, really like that armor. Like I said, I like the color blue, and also it just fits really well with the French Revolution, with the aesthetic of what's going on around you, with the world. And I just felt like this is a really good assassin outfit. Like, it doesn't stand out too much. You can sort of blend in with the crowd, but it also is elegant in its own way. So yeah, I really, really like this robe, and you know what, it is iconic for me. Moving on from Arno's one robe. Now, Arno does have a Master Assassin outfit, but I didn't want to include that because it doesn't really appear in any of the trailers. So I'm not doing any Master Assassin outfits for any of these assassins. So yeah. Alright, moving on from Arno's one outfit, we move on to the next one, which is the Dead King's outfit. And it's bad. It is bad. It is really bad. Now, if you just look at the promotion images, or if you look at the trailer, the CGI trailer they had for Dead King's DLC, it looked badass. But it's just that cape physics were terrible, and the armor, the color of the armor, it was like brown, and it just didn't work for me. It's not that good. It's terrible. Like, it's worse than Desmond's armor. Like, Desmond at least had something that looks good. In the game, Arno's Dead King's armor doesn't even look that good. Now we move on to the Chronicles games. So we start with Xiao Yoon. And I have to put this in great. This is a really good armor. Like Xiao Yoon, of course, this wasn't her first appearance in Assassin's Creed lore. Like she appeared in the Ember short movie where she visited Ezio, and Ezio gave her that box, the box which she was protecting in Assassin's Creed Chronicles China. So yeah, I really like the aesthetic, like the black and red. Like it became more of a thing later on, like with Shay, and then black and red became more of a thing with Syndicate. But I really like this aesthetic. Like there were some, I don't know what they call those things, like some golden accents in that. And I really like the armor set. Like if Xiao Yoon ever comes to a main game, please have that armor set. Like I really like that. Now moving on from that, we move on to Mir's armor from Assassin's Creed Chronicles India. Now, hey, it's an Indian assassin, but I'm just gonna put it at good. Now, to be fair, I have never actually seen a proper 3D version of it, because these were 2D games. Now, Xiao Yoon's armor actually did come in Assassin's Creed Syndicate. So that's why, there's a way to, you can actually see that armor set in 3D, like in a proper 3D Assassin's Creed game. But here, of course, it was two-dimensional, and honestly, it's not that easy to notice the details. But I would still say the armor does look good. It's not a bad armor set, it's just that I didn't see a lot of it. So yeah, it's just good. It's good. It's not great, it's just good. But it's still, the color scheme, etc., all of that is great. Now we move on from that to Nikolai Orlov. Now, everyone else might be boycotting Russia right now. I myself am. But hey, that's got nothing to do with the video here. Unfortunately, the world is fucked up. But as far as the armor set goes, though, I'm gonna say it's okay. Like I've said this about Altair's armor. I've said this about Arno's armor. That their simplicity is what really makes them great. Now, you should be able to apply that same logic to his armor, right? Yes, you can. It's just that it looks like something an NPC in Assassin's Creed 1 would wear. Like, I am pretty sure I've seen that exact same thing being worn by one of the assassin NPCs. I just don't feel like it stands out too much. Like, even with their simplicity, Arno's armor, Altair's armor, the Revelation's armor, they stand out. This one doesn't. This one just sort of, it's a typical assassin armor, and there is not much to say about it. So yeah, it's there. Now we move on to Syndicate, and we start with Jacob Frye, and oh boy, I'm gonna get a lot of stick for this, but iconic. Once again, like when I first saw the trailer for Syndicate, like I was eagerly awaiting, like I waited the entire day to watch the reveal for this game. I was kind of disappointed, to be fair, but still, I was also sort of impressed. But the one thing that stood out for me was this armor set. Like, I really liked this armor set, and when I actually started the game and we started with that crappy ass thing that Jacob was wearing, I was like, when do I get this? When do I get that? And about halfway through the game, we do get that armor set, and it's great. It's the outdoorsman armor set for Jacob Frye, and it's honestly great. There's not much else I can say about this. Now we move on to Evie Frye, and I would say it's a great armor set. Like, I like the character of Evie Frye better than Jacob, but in terms of armor, I like Jacob's armor slightly more. But that doesn't mean Evie's armor isn't good. The black and red really works well. It's not the best, like it's not as good as some of the other armor sets, but it's definitely a great one. Now we move on to a lesser known protagonist. In fact, if you have just played the main story and you never really bothered with the World War I segments of it, then maybe you have even missed this. But it's Lydia Frye's armor, and honestly, I really loved it. Like, the hood was kind of oversized a little bit, but it sort of fit her armor, and it also fit the time it was going for, like World War One, the color scheme and everything. I really liked that armor set, and it sort of made me want to see an Assassin's Creed game set during World War One. And surely they can do that, because World War One is one of those battles where if you pick and choose where you want to be, you can really set an Assassin's Creed game because firearms weren't that powerful. Like, yeah, there were some really good firearms. I'm not gonna say that, but you can really set an Assassin's Creed game in World War One without really having to worry about those things. Now we move on to the next armor set, and this is my second cheat armor, which is Aguilar de Nerja. This is from the Assassin's Creed movie, and the reason why I wanted to include this because I really do like this armor set. Like, now this is why this kind of qualified for both the top 10 armor sets in that video and also in this one. It's because Biax can wear this armor set. This was featured in a trailer for an Assassin's Creed project. So yeah, on a technicality, this qualifies. But the point is, it's a great armor set. It's very different from the other armor sets that we have seen. Like, we have never really seen a brown color, like brownish color for it. And now you might be saying, hey, Arno had that brown and you said that it sucked. Well, that particular shade sucked. But this armor, it really works well. And the best part is, they designed it for real. Like, this is an actual real armor. Like all of the other ones, yes, cosplayers have made their own versions. But this one was made for, a live real movie. So yeah, great. This armor is great. I really love the aesthetic, everything about it. The movie sucked, but the armor was great. Okay, so now we move on. Now we move to Bayek of Siva. Up you go! The first hidden one. And yeah, it is iconic. Like, I really loved Bayek's armor. Like, once again, the moment I saw it in the trailer, instantly fell in love with it. So yeah. Of course, the CGI trailer did arrive later, and the main reveal was different. But I really loved it, and there are no two ways about it. It's it's not very complicated. Like, yes, there are some splashes of color with the orange. Is it orange? Should I call it yellow? I don't know. But the red belt with the orange sort of sash with the cloth hanging, and especially with the cloth physics, which was improved, but then later completely forgotten about by the later games for some reason. It just really worked well. The armor really worked well. So yeah, it's iconic. Now, actually, Aya should be here. The next one should be Aya. Now, Aya, or Amunet, now she is a legendary assassin. But unfortunately, her armor was just very plain. And now, the one problem that I had is that it just doesn't really do much to stand out in any way, shape, or form. It just feels like a generic assassin armor. Like later on, especially when she puts the hood on, like it's just a generic armor. I don't feel like it really captures anything. So yeah, for me, it's still a good armor. It's not a bad armor set, like, but it's not that good. You get me? It's just not that good. I felt like her Hidden Ones outfit was actually better, but unfortunately, we couldn't play as her in the Hidden Ones DLC. So technically, that doesn't qualify. So I mean, that still could have qualified, but I didn't find any proper images. So unfortunate. And yes, if you do realize one of those things, like as long as I'm in this topic, the armor set that Aya is wearing in the Hidden Ones DLC is pretty much the same armor set that she has, like, as Amunet in Assassin's Creed 2 in the statue. When she's wearing that armor, that's that armor. Like, that looks very much alike that armor. So yeah, that was a cool armor. Unfortunately, couldn't find a good image for it. Yeah, sorry about that. Now we move on to Biax Dlc Armor. And I know a lot of people love it. I don't love it as much. Like, at first when I saw the armor, I really liked it. But in gameplay, especially the waist down part, I just didn't like it. Above the waist, it was good. Like, below the waist, not so much. So I just, let it be. Like, मेरे को उतना नहीं चलेगा चलता है यार, मत तो रहने दो. So yeah, it doesn't mean that armor was bad. It was good. It just wasn't the best. Now we move on to Odyssey. Odyssey. Now my hate for Odyssey is plain for everyone to see. But the armor wasn't that bad. It was okay. Like, you can see what they were going for. I like that the helm, they were going for that Spartan war hero look. The outfit itself is not that bad. The armor set itself is not that bad, and it's okay. It's not that bad. It's okay. Now I move on to another armor that Kassandra wore. Oh, I guess I need to clarify some things. You might say, where is Alexios? Well, Alexios and Kassandra wear the same armor. So why would I put Alexios in here? He literally does not exist. So yeah. Now the other armor that Kassandra wears is in the first... It's in the Legacy of the First Blood? No. It's in the Atlantis DLC. Fate of Atlantis DLC. Which is the Isu armor. And I absolutely love it. Like, it's not iconic, but it is a great armor set. Like, yes, they sort of, made it look like an assassin armor, but, there's no concept of assassins yet. But I really like the look of that armor, like the Isu look. Like, there have been some Isu armor. Like, of course, there was Edward's armor. Then there is Biax armor. There have been a few Isu armor sets. Then there was Evie's armor set as well. Like, it can be counted as an Isu armor set, I guess. But this is the best one. This is hands down the best one. Like, white with some golden accents, with the golden light in the chest and at the back, and with the bracers and with the with the legs and stuff. I really like this armor set. And I also wanted to give an honorable mention to the Origins armor set that Kassandra has at the end of the crossover episode. But once again, I could not find some good images for it, so it's not in the tier list yet. So yeah, this one is good. This one is really good. Now we move on to Eivor Varensdottir from Assassin's Creed Valhalla. Now you can also once again make a case, where is Havi? Where is Odin? But Havi wears the same armor as Eivor, because of course it's an animus trickery basically. That is letting us play as Havi in the modern day England. And of course it's like she is having visions of Odin. So Odin is wearing basically her armor. But overall though, I would say it's okay. It's not that bad. It's not that great. I don't really care much about this armor set. Like with the cloak and all, like I see it looks good with the fur and all that, but I just don't care that much about this armor set. It's okay. It's not that bad. It's not that good. It's okay. Now we move on to Basim's armor set. Now this is going to be my last cheat armor sort of, and well, Basim is the protagonist now. Like, spoiler alert, he's a protagonist. He wears this armor, so it's a protagonist armor, so it counts. And it is, again, iconic. Now, I know a lot of people are going to dispute me on this, but I'm going to give my reasons as to why I think as such. Now, look at this armor set. Look at this. This is Altair's armor. And compare it to this. Like, you would see, obviously, these are not the same, but these are similar. Now, when you realize at what point Valhalla is actually set, Valhalla is set very close to Assassin's Creed 1. Like, it's about, what, 100, 200 years? Like, 200 years, approximately 200-300 years before Assassin's Creed 1. So clearly, at that point, the Assassin Brotherhood as we know it is starting to take shape. And, they're starting to have their aesthetics. And the best part, these armors actually existed in Assassin's Creed 1. I loved it that much more because that armor set exists in Assassin's Creed 1. If you play Assassin's Creed 1, some of the assassins, you will see the upper part of their outfit is grey, the same grey that Basim and Haytham are using. So I really loved that, and I felt like I was finally back where it started. I really loved that, and that's why that armor really rates high, with the red sash, with the hidden blade, with the really cool hidden blade that they have, with the cape, with the hood, with the classic assassin armor. It was never going to rate low on my list. And there is a reason why I keep running this armor in Valhalla. I am running this over every armor. There's a reason why. And that's the reason. I really love it. Alright guys, that brings about the end of this video. And if you liked it, then press that like button. If you disliked it, well, dislike button is right beside it. Don't press that though. And do let me know. How would you rank this in your tier list? I will share the link for this tier in the description. You can go and make your own tier lists. Follow me on Twitter. Share that with me on Twitter. I'll also maybe upload this format on Twitter as well. So yeah, maybe I'll do that. So yeah, all that said though, once again, like it if you like it, and subscribe to my channel for more content. And once again, I have a Discord server now, so follow me there. We'll chat about stuff, and maybe I'll let you know about the videos that I'm making. So yeah, all of that said, I hope you enjoyed, and I will leave you guys in peace.